So sad sighing by sycamore tree, sing on a green willow. Her head on her bosom, her head on her knee, sing willow, willow, willow. The fresh streams run by her, and murmur, sing willow, willow, willow. Soft stone. Sing willow, willow, willow. Hiding, you come around, sing willow. Sing like a lady, let nobody miss your.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the month of April. We're glad to be here with myself, Bill, John, Elizabeth, Sheila, Maggie, Robert, and Henry are all here to play and perform random monologues and scenes for Shakespeare fans here on this channel. So based on our randomly determined order in advance, Henry is going to perform our first monologue. Add him to the stream. Welcome back, Henry. And then let's see, Alex isn't here. Maggie is on deck. Maggie, you will go after Henry. But first for Henry, let's bring up the wheel and see what Henry's gonna do. Okay, spinning for Henry.
Sounds like a good game.
Portia. Okay, so you see me is just after Bassanio's chosen the correct box and giving the ring. Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 2, about 136 lines in. So I create the banner for you for Portia.
What's the
Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 2. It begins with "You see me, Bassanio, where I stand."
I'm on 3-2. What's the first line? Do you know?
"You see me, Bassanio, where I stand."
Oh yes. Okay.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Right. You see me, Lord Bassanio, where I stand, such as I am. But for myself alone I would not be ambitious in my wish to wish myself much better. Yet for you I would be trebled 20 times myself, 1,000 times more fair, 10,000 times more rich, that only to stand high in your account I might in virtue, beauties, livings, friends, exceed account. But the full sum of me is sum of something which to term in gross is an unlessoned girl, unschooled, unpractised. Happy in this, she is not yet so old, but she may learn. Happier than this, she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Happiest of this is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours, to be directed as from her lord, her governor, her king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen, or myself. And even now, but now, this house, these servants, and this same myself are yours, my lord. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, lose or give away. Let it presage the ruin of your love, and be my vantage to exclaim on you. That was very out of the blue.
Hey, very nice. Okay, Maggie is up next, and then I'm on deck after her. Where's Maggie? There she is. Maggie, welcome back. You will
Thank
be
you.
performing. It'll go from one Portia to another. Went from Portia's,
4-1. Okay.
yeah, Portia's second best monologue to Portia's best monologue.
Well, let's see. Sometimes
Quality and mercy.
4-1. Was it Act 4, Scene 1?
Act 4, Scene 1.
Okay. And it's quite a ways in. Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. The scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptered sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. And earthly power doth then show likest God's when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence 'gainst the merchant there. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So it's my turn now, and Elizabeth, you're on deck. You'll go after me. But first, I am going to perform. Friar Lawrence, very good. Role I've played on stage twice, so I practically, it's been long enough, I better bring it up. I think I'm off book still, but better be sure of it. Gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light. And flecked darkness like a drunkard reels from forth day's path and tightens fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advance his burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth, that's nature's mother, is her tomb. What is her burying grave? That is her womb. And from that womb, children of divers kinds, we, sucking on her natural bosom, find many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, yet all different. Mickle's the powerful grace that lies in plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities. For not so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Or not so good, but strained from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this small flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this being smelt, with that part cheers each part. Being tasted, slays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the cankered death eats up that plant. Okay, that was a trip down memory lane. Okay, Elizabeth, you're up. Welcome back. It's been a while. We're glad to have you back here with us. You will be doing Titus. Hear me, grave. I believe it's the opening of Act 3, Scene 1, Titus Andronicus.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so go.
Hear me, grave fathers, noble tribunes, stay. For pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept, for all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, for all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which now you see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed. For these tribunes in the dust I write my heart's deep languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears staunch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain that shall distill from these two ancient urns than youthful April shall with all his showers. In summer's drought, I'll drop upon thee still. In winter, with warm tears, I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face, so thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood. O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators. Thank you.
Okay, great. Ted's messaging me. He doesn't have the link. I'm trying to get that to him, so hopefully he can join us. But sorry about that. I wasn't ready for it, but that was great. And Sheila is up next, and then Robert on deck. Let me get you back in. Oh, and Eleanor just joined us. Sheila, here you are. So you will be doing.
Oh, no.
Card.
Oh, gracious me.
What would you like to do? get to choose anything.
Oh, no. Pass. I'll come up with something. I really am. Why don't you just spin for me again? I have no idea what I want to do.
Okay.
Somebody can take my wild card if they need it.
Bolingbroke, bring forth these men.
Did you post it? I don't see it.
Richard II, Act 3, Scene 1.
This sounds familiar. Did I do this recently?
I know it's been done before. I can't remember who's done it.
I think it was me because the lines are looking very familiar to me.
Okay, you want me to spin again?
Yeah, sorry. I'm like your spinning addict here.
Claudius, so it's the opening of Act 1, Scene 2. In Hamlet.
Okay, we can do this.
Okay.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it is us befitted to bear our hearts in grief and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe, yet so far hath discretion fought with nature that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein. And that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of his subject, and we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway. Give to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
Okay, great. So Ted just made it back. We missed him, so we're glad I got the link to him. Ted, glad you were able to make it.
Hi, sorry about that.
No, it's probably my fault. Okay, so we'll spin for you, and then Robert, you're on deck. You'll go after Ted. The first Ted is going to do. Richmond, this is the closing victory speech, the end of Richard III. The very end of the play.
That's inter their bodies as becomes their births.
Yes. So
Okay.
whenever you're
Inter their bodies as become their births. Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled that in submission will return to us. And then, as we have ta'en the sacrament, we will unite the white rose and the red. Smile heaven upon this fair conjunction, that long have frowned upon their enmity. What traitor hears me and says not amen? England hath long been mad and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son, compelled, been butchered to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster, divided in their dire division. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance conjoined together, and let their heirs, God, if thy will be so, enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair prosperous days. Abate the edge of traitors, gracious Lord, that would reduce these bloody days again, and make poor England weep in streams of blood. Let them not live to taste this land's increase, that would with treason wound this fair land's peace. Now civil wounds are stopped. Peace lives again, that she may long live here. God say amen. Scene.
Okay, yeah, that's one that we only recently added to the wheel, so we're glad we got that for some variety, and you did well with it.
Thank you.
Robert is up next, and then Eleanor is on deck after Robert. So Robert, you will be performing. Duke Vincentio, that's the very end of Act 3, Scene 2. He who the sword of heaven would dare.
Okay. All right, I think I've dialed it up.
Okay.
He who the sword of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe, pattern in himself to know grace to stand and virtue go, more nor less to others paying than by self offenses weighing. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and let his grow. Oh, what may man within him hide, though angel on the outward side? How may likeness made in crimes, making practice on the times to draw with idle spider's strings, most ponderous and substantial things. Craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo tonight shall lie his old betrothed but despised, so disguised shall by the disguised pay with falsehood false exacting, and perform an old contracting.
Okay, great. Eleanor is up, and Bill is on deck after Eleanor. First,
Cool.
Eleanor is going to...
Also, yeah, Oriana explicitly offered ongoing support, but I also wanted to offer that also only this summer because I will be drowning in in grad school work after August.
Eleanor, do you have somebody else's sound?
So,
Hello?
Hello?
Eleanor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, you had a different sound coming in. Okay, so you're able to join us still?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you going to be able to stay for scenes, or just do a monologue? Then you got to get back to your other thing?
I think I will be able to stay for scenes now.
Okay, great.
Because I think the other thing is ending.
Okay. And so I was just getting an idea of a larger scene that we can do based on how many people are here now. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 2.
Act 3, Scene 2. And let's see. Got it.
Okay. Go.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them, the good is often tarred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all can see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
Okay, great. So Bill is up next, and before he goes, I'll mention it so people have a little bit of time to look it over. I was looking at, we got a good turnout today. We got 10 people with us. So I was going to do, a larger, what I was thinking I'll do for our larger scene. I'm thinking the opening of Midsummer Night's Dream. There's Theseus, and then Aegeus comes, and Hermia and the two men courting her. Hippolyta has exactly one line. In fact, we'll probably skip from the part where Theseus is talking about the wedding, and then when Aegeus enters with his daughter and the two suitors, there'll be the 5 people. The Aegeus, Theseus, Hermia, Lysander, Demetrius, be those 5 roles, and then we'll stop when Helena enters, be those 5, and then the other 5 will be in scenes that will be determined by the wheel. So it's for everybody to consider. But first, we got 2 more monologues to do. We got Bill and then John. So Bill is going to do. Paulina, what studied torments? Winter's Tale. Act 3, Scene 2. About 185 lines in.
What studied torments? Is that the beginning of the speech?
I believe so, yes.
I just found it. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
What studied torments, tyrant, hast for me? What wheels, racks, fires, what flame boiling in leads or oils? What old or newer torture must I receive, whose every word deserves to taste of thy most worst? Thy tyranny together working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and then run mad indeed, stark mad. For all thy bygone fooleries were but spices of it that thou betrayest Polixenes. 'Twas nothing. That did but show thee of a fool, inconstant and damnable, ingrateful. Nor wasn't much. Thou wouldst have poisoned good Camillo's honor to have him kill a king. Poor trespasses more monstrous standing by, whereof I reckon the casting forth to crows thy baby daughter to be, or none or little, though a devil would have shed water out of fire ere done it. Nor is directly laid to thee the death of the young prince, whose honorable thoughts high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. This is not laid to thy answer, but the last. O lords, when I have said, cry woe, the queen, the sweetest, dearest creature is dead, and vengeance for it not dropped down yet. See.
Okay, great. So we got one more monologue to do before we start our scenes, and that will be, where is John? There he is. John.
Hi, may I accept Shelia's offer and do the wild card?
Go for, yeah, absolutely. What have you been itching?
Oh, well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. It's Henry IV, Part 2, The Induction.
Oh.
I heard a rumor about this one. So anyway, this is rumor speaking, and this, of course, happens prior to the beginning of the story.
The part that's usually cut. But if you like it, despite the fact that most productions don't, for whatever reason.
I don't know why they don't. I think it's very good. Okay. Okay, ready? Open your ears. For which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud rumor speaks? Aye, From the Orient to the drooping West, making the wind my post horse still unfold the acts commenced on this ball of earth. Upon my tongue's continuous slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of men with false reports. I speak of peace, while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. And who but rumor, who but only I make fearful musters and prepared defense, whilst the big year, swoln with some other grief, is thought with child by the stern tyrant war, and no such matter. Rumor is a pipe blown by surmises, jealousies, conjectures, and if so easy and so plain a stop, that the blunt monster with uncounted heads, the still discordant wavering multitude can play upon it. But what need I thus my well-known body to anatomize among my household? Why is rumor here? I run before King Henry's victory, who in a bloody field of Shrewsbury hath beaten down young Hotspur and his troops, quenching the flame of bold rebellion even with the rebel's blood. But what mean I to speak so true at first? My office is to noise abroad that Harry Monmouth fell under the wrath of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king before the Douglas rage stooped his anointed head as low as death. This have I rumored through the peasant towns between the royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten hold of Ragged Stone where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies crafty sick. The posts come tiring on, and not a man of them brings other news than they have learned of me. From rumor's tongues they bring smooth comforts false, worse than true wrongs. Thank you.
Hey, interesting. You know, another benefit of having wild card be on the wheel, but to add to the randomness, is the fact that oftentimes when somebody gets it, they perform something that's not on the wheel, something that I've never thought of, and in the process, it gives me an idea. You know, that would be good to put on the wheel for somebody else to randomly be assigned. So I think I'll do that. So thank you for giving me the idea. Okay, so that was good with the monologues. Now with our scenes, I'm going to spin for others. The first five of us, again, beginning of Midsummer Night's Dream, although we'll skip the first part because Hippolyta only has one line. Theseus is talking about the wedding, and I think she stays on stage, but she never talks after that. So from the point where Aegeus comes on, happy be Theseus, our renowned duke, and then when Aegeus enters with his daughter and the two suitors, that'll be the five of us, and then all but Lysander and Hermia exit. I'll keep those in the stream. But then when Helena comes in, we'll end on look, here comes Helena. So that'll be roles for five of us. For the other five of us, let's get some randomly determined scenes. So the other scenes. You know, I'm gonna. That's gonna be a little weird, you know, because I'm gonna overrule this because it's like a continuation of the scene we did the very next one, Demetrius and Helena. Let's do that another time when we haven't just done the scene right before it. All's well that ends well. Act 1, Scene 3, the Countess and Helena. And Henry VI, Part 2. Act 3, Scene 2. Queen Margaret and Suffolk. And then so that's roles for 9 of us. and so for the 10th, you know what? I'm gonna actually make it a choice. If somebody wants to choose it, I'm gonna say that the 10th role can either be I'll choose to do another monologue, or they can say, you know what, I want to be Helena, and let's continue and let's not cut the scene off when she enters, like we said. So that'll be another option. So the 10 roles for the 10 of us: Theseus, Aegeus, Hermia, Lysander, and Demetrius; the Countess and Helena and All's Well That Ends Well, Act 1, Scene 3; the Queen and Queen Margaret and Duke of Suffolk in Henry VI, Part 2, Act 3, Scene 2; and lastly, you can either choose to do another monologue, or you can choose to say, you know, I would like to be Helena and be in that Midsummer Night's Dream scene, and not end it when she enters. So, so those are the 10 choices, and John, who went last, will get the first choice amongst those. John, what would you like to be?
Demetrius.
Demetrius.
Oh wait, can I get the monologue instead?
Can you get what?
The monologue.
Monologue. Okay. That's
okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eleanor, what would you like out of those roles?
Helena.
Helena. Okay, so you are going to add your son. Okay, great. Helena.
Two Helenas that are up for bids, actually, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Helena from All's Well. Okay, got it.
No, I'm happy to be Helena in a Midsummer Night.
Okay, so we'll do that. So Helena, that'll be you. Who's next? Robert gets next. Robert, what would you like?
Suffolk.
Suffolk. Shelia.
Fast. All right. Let me be Margaret.
Margaret. Great. Elizabeth. There you are. What would you like, Elizabeth?
Helena in All's Well.
Okay, Helena in All's Well. Ted. Ted, what would you like?
Hi, I'll do Aegeus in Midsummer.
Ted, Aegeus in Midsummer. I will. Let me go in. I've played Aegeus before in a Zoom production, so I wasn't anxious to do that again. But I'll do this. Let me be Lysander. I'll be Lysander in that one. Maggie. Maggie, what would you like?
I guess I will take Theseus.
Theseus.
I guess.
And Henry. Where is it? Henry, what would you like?
What's left?
They're actually,
The Countess.
I must have counted wrong. I think we have another. We have the Countess in All's Well That Ends Well, and we also have Hermia.
Well, I'll do the Countess. I think the problem was you gave Helena in Midsummer Night's Dream away, but that was an alternative to the monologue, so it wasn't really available because the monologue was already chosen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I'll do the Countess, please.
So we got Henry and Eleanor doing All's Well That. I'm sorry, Henry and Elizabeth. I can't read my own writing. Henry and Elizabeth doing All's Well That Ends Well. Shelia and Robert doing the Henry VI scene. And then, I guess I counter. Eleanor, would you be amenable to switching to be Hermia instead of because I counted wrong, so apparently.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, we're doing the opening scene
Wait a minute.
with Aegeus starting.
Yes. That's right.
I must have really, I don't know, I must have screwed up here because I haven't assigned Hermia and I haven't assigned Demetrius. It's like,
Oh, I think Demetrius is. Oh, yeah, that John shifted. Sorry.
John took Demetrius.
Well, no, I think then he said he'd rather do some. I'm sorry, I got confused. I was trying to keep track, but I couldn't do it.
Why I screwed up so bad here with? Oh, I missed Bill. That's why.
Yeah, there we go.
Bill, Bill, I'm sorry I skipped you and went out. Are you okay with Demetrius?
I'm okay with Demetrius. Thank you.
Okay. And then Eleanor will. Yeah, sorry about. Did I skip anybody else?
So Eleanor is Hermia.
Yeah, Eleanor will be Hermia. And you know what? Does everybody know? When we have a bunch of people in the stream at a time, we can see the names. Let's go ahead and change our names to the name of our character so people know who we are better.
Let's see.
It should have both. It should have both names.
I just changed some. Okay, banner in here. Banner. So we'll start. Yeah.
So I start after Hippolyta's line.
Okay, wait. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out who's supposed to be. Okay, actually, Henry's not supposed to be. So it's. Yes, the five of us here. So. Okay, yeah. So Theseus begin with
Go Philistrate.
Actually, yeah, you can start with that if you like.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Is anyone not ready?
Hold one sec. My script suddenly disappeared on me, and now I have it back.
Okay. Okay. Go, Philostrate. Stir up the Athenian youth to merriments. Awake the pert and nimble spirit of mirth. Turn melancholy forth to funerals. The pale companion is not for our pomp. Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword and won thy love, doing thee injuries. But I will wed thee in another key, with pomp, with triumph, and with reveling.
Happy be Theseus, our renowned duke.
Thanks, good Aegeus. What's the news with thee?
Full of vexation come I, with complaint against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius. My noble lord, this man hath my consent to marry her. Stand forth, Lysander, and my gracious duke, this man hath bewitched the bosom of my child. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes, and interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast by moonlight at her window sung, with feigning voice verses of feigning love, and stolen the impression of her fantasy with bracelets of thy hair, rings, gauds, conceits, knacks, trifles, nosegays, sweetmeats, messengers of strong prevailment in unhardened youth. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart, turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness. And my gracious duke, be it so, she will not here before your grace consent to marry with Demetrius. I beg the ancient privilege of Athens. As she is mine, I may dispose of her, which shall be either to this gentleman or to her death, according to our law immediately provided in that case.
What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god. one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form of wax by him imprinted and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman.
So is Lysander.
In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier.
I would my father looked but with my eyes.
Rather, your eyes must with his judgment look.
I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts, but I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case if I refuse to wed Demetrius.
Either to die the death or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires. Know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether if you yield not to your father's choices, you can endure the livery of a nun, for I to be in shady cloister mewed, live a barren sister all your life, chanting faint hymns to the cold, fruitless moon. Thrice blessed they that master so their blood to undergo such maiden pilgrimage. But earthlier happy is the rose distilled than that which withering on the virgin thorn grows, lives, and dies in single blessedness.
So will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will you will my virgin patent up unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty.
Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day betwixt my love and me, for everlasting bond of fellowship, upon that day either prepare to die for disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for austerity and single life.
Relent, sweet Hermia, and Lysander, yield thy crazed title to my certain right.
You have her father's love, Demetrius. Let me have Hermia's. Do you marry him?
Scornful Lysander. True, he hath my love, and what is mine, my love shall render him. And she is mine, and all my right of her I do estate unto Demetrius.
I am, my lord, as well derived as he, as well possessed. My love is more than his, my fortunes every way as fairly ranked, if not with vantage, as Demetrius. And which is more than all these boasts, can I am beloved of beauteous Hermia. Why should not I then prosecute my right? Demetrius, I'll avouch it to his head, made love to Nader's daughter, Helena, and won her soul, and she, sweet lady, dotes, devoutly dotes in idolatry upon this spotted and inconstant man.
I must confess that I have heard so much, and with Demetrius thought to have spoke thereof, but being over full of self-affairs, my mind did lose it. But Demetrius, come, and come, Aegeus, you shall go with me. I have some private schooling for you both. For you, fair Hermia, look you arm yourself to fit your fancies to your father's will, or else the law of Athens yields you up, which by no means we may extenuate to death, or to a vow of single life. Come, my Hippolyta, what cheer, my love? Demetrius and Aegeus, go along. I must employ you in some business against our nuptial, and confer with you of something nearly that concerns yourselves.
With duty and desire we follow you.
How now, my love? Why is your cheek so pale? How chance the roses there do fade so fast?
Like for want of rain, which I could well redeem them from the tempest of mine eyes.
Ay me, For aught that I could ever read, could ever hear by tale or history, the course of true love never did run smooth, but either it was different in blood.
Oh, cross, too high to be enthralled to low.
Or else misgraft in respective years.
Oh, spite, too old to be engaged young.
Or else it stood upon the choice of friends.
Oh, hell, to choose love by another's eyes.
Oh, if there were a sympathy in choice, war, death, or sickness did lay siege to it, making it momentary as a sound, swift as a shadow, short as any dream, brief as the lightning in the collied night, that in a spleen unfolds both heaven and earth, and ere a man hath power to say, behold, the jaws of darkness do devour it up. So quick bright things come to confusion.
And if true lovers have been ever crossed, it stands as an edict in destiny. Then let us teach our trial patience, because it is a customary cross, as due to love as thoughts and dreams and sighs, wishes and tears, poor fancy's followers.
A good persuasion. Therefore hear me, Hermia. I have a widow aunt, a dowager of great revenue, and she hath no child. From Athens is her house remote, 7 leagues, and she respects me as her only son. There, gentle Hermia, may I marry thee. And to that place the sharp Athenian law cannot pursue us. If thou lov'dst me then, steal forth thy father's house tomorrow night, and in the wood, a league without the town, where I did meet thee once with Helena, to do observance to a morn of May, there will I stay for thee.
My good Lysander, I swear to thee, by Cupid's strongest bow, by his best arrow with the golden head, by the simplicity of Venus's doves, by that which knitteth souls and prospers loves, and by that fire that which burned the Carthage queen when the false Troyan under sail was seen, by all the vows that ever men have broke in number more than ever women spoke. In that same place thou hast appointed me, tomorrow truly will I meet with thee.
Keep promise, love. Look, here comes Helena.
Godspeed, fair Helena. Whither away?
Great. So, a few bumps in the road, mistakes in casting, but I think we still had a good scene anyway. Next, we have Henry and Elizabeth to do to be Duke of. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, to be the Countess and Helena. Henry. Okay.
Are you going from what is your pleasure, Elizabeth?
That's fine with me. If you want to do the speech before, I'm easy.
Well, I'd like to do that, yeah.
Great.
Okay, let me click banner and okay, so you're both ready to go now with
Yeah.
Okay.
Will you take Elizabeth out until yeah. You have discharged this honestly. Keep it to yourself. Many likelihoods informed me of this before, which hung so tottering in the balance that I could neither believe nor misdoubt. Pray you, leave me, stall this in your bosom, and I thank you for your honest care. I will speak with you further anon. Even so it was with me when I was young. If ever we are nature's, these are ours. This thorn doth to our rose of youth rightly belong. Our blood to us, this to our blood is born. It is the show and seal of nature's truth, where love's strong passion is impressed in youth. by our remembrances of days foregone. Such were our faults, or then we thought them none. Her eye is sick on't, I observe her now.
What is your pleasure, madam?
You know, Helen, that I am a mother to you.
Mine honourable mistress.
Nay, a mother? Why not a mother? When I said a mother, methought you saw a serpent. What's in mother that you start at it? I say I am your mother, and put you in the catalogue of those that were enwombed of mine. 'Tis often seen adoption strives with nature, and choice breeds, and natives slip to us from foreign seeds. You ne'er oppressed me with a mother's groan, yet I expressed to you a mother's care. God's mercy, maiden, does it curd thy blood to say I am thy mother? What's the matter that this distempered message of wet the many-coloured iris rounds thy eye? Why, that you are my daughter?
That I am not.
I say I am your mother.
Pardon, madam, the Count Rossillon cannot be my brother. I am from humble, he from honoured name. No note upon my parents, his all noble. My master, my dear lord he is, and I his servant live, and will his vassal die. He must not be my brother.
Nor I your mother?
You are my mother, madam, would you were, so that my lord your son were not my brother. Indeed, my mother, or were you both our mothers, I care no more for than I do for heaven, so I were not his sister. Can't no other but I, your daughter, he must be my brother?
Yes, Helen, you might be my daughter-in-law. God shield you, mean it not. Daughter and mother so strive upon your path. What, pale again? My fear hath catched your fondness. Now I see the mystery of your loneliness, and find your salt tears head. Now to all sense 'tis gross you love my son. Invention is ashamed against the proclamation of thy passion, to say thou dost not. Therefore tell me true, but tell me then 'tis so. For look, thy cheeks confess it, the one to the other to the one. Thine eyes see it so grossly shown in thy behaviours that in their kind they speak it. Only sin and hellish obstinacy tie thy tongue, that truth should be suspected. Speak, is it so? If it be so, you have wound a goodly clue. If it not be so, forswear it. Howe'er I charge thee, as heaven shall work in me for thine avail, tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, noble mistress.
Love you, my son?
Do not you love him, madam?
Get not about. My love hath in't a bond whereof the world takes note. Come, disclose the state of your affection, for your passions have to the full appeached.
Then I confess, here on my knee, before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor, but honest, so is my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him, yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love in vain, strive against hope, yet in this captious and untenable sieve I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still. Thus, Indian-like, religious in mine error, I adored the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. My dearest madam, Let not your hate encounter with my love for loving where you do. But if yourself, whose aged honor cites a virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking wish chastely and love dearly that your Diane was both herself and love, oh, then give pity to her, whose state is such that cannot choose but lend and give where she is sure to lose, that seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madam, I had.
Wherefore? Tell true.
I will tell truth. By grace itself, I swear. You know, my father left me some prescriptions of rare and proved effects, such as his reading and manifest experience had collected for general sovereignty, and that he willed me, in heedfullest reservation, to bestow them, as notes whose faculties inclusive were more than they were in note. Amongst the rest, there is a remedy approved, set down, to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord your son made me think of this. Else Paris and the medicine and the king had from the conversation of my thoughts happily been absent then.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, he would receive it? He and his physicians are of a mind. He that they cannot help him, they that they cannot help. How should they credit a poor, unlearned virgin when the schools emboweled of their doctrine have left off the danger to itself?
There's something in it, more than my father's skill, which was the greatest of his profession, that his good receipt shall for my legacy be sanctified by the luckiest stars in heaven. And would your honor but give me leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure by such a day and hour.
Dost thou believe it?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, thou shalt have my leave and love, means and attendance, and my loving greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing into thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this, what I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
And scene.
Okay, that was awesome.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was wonderful.
We've done that one before. If we have, it's been a while. That was okay. So we have Robert's going to do another monologue, but first we have one more scene. We have it's Sheila and Robert are Queen Margaret and Duke of Suffolk. Oh, and I saw you were putting in the chat that you wanted to not cut that one line where the servant just comes in and says something. So yeah, I'm fine with picking up that role. I think we've done this scene before. It was a long time ago before I took it out of retirement, and I think we just cut that part. Yeah, I understand if you don't want to cut it, then yeah, I'm fine. I'll just put myself into the stream and quickly to say the one line and then leave. Be the servant. So we have Sheila and Robert are doing that. So you guys are both ready to go with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mischance and sorrow go along with you. Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep you company. There's two of you. The devil makes a third, and threefold vengeance tend upon your steps.
Cease, gentle queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave.
Fie, coward woman! Soft-hearted wretch, hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemy?
A plague upon them! Wherefore should I curse them? Would curses kill, as doth the mandrake's groan? I would invent as bitter searching terms, as cursed, as harsh and horrible to hear, delivered strongly through my fixed teeth. with full as many signs of deadly hate as lean-faced envy in her loathsome cave. My tongue should stumble in mine earnest words, mine eyes should sparkle like the beaten flint, mine hair should be fixed on end as one distract. Every joint should seem to curse and ban, and even now my burthened heart would break should I not curse them. Poison be their drink, gall worse than gall, the daintiest they taste. Their sweetest shade a grove of cypress trees, their chiefest prospect murdering basilisks, their softest touch as smart as lizard's sting. The music frightful as the serpent's hiss, and boding screech owls make the concert full. Oh, the foul terrors and dark-seated hell.
Sweet Suffolk, thou torments thyself, and these dread curses like the sun against glass, like an o'ercharged gun recoil, and turn the force of them upon thyself.
You bade me ban, and will you bid me leave? Now by the ground I am banished from. Well, I could curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top, where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport.
Oh, let me entreat thee cease. Give me thy hand, that I may do it with my mournful tears. Nor let the rain of heaven wet this place to wash away my woeful monuments. Oh, could this kiss be printed in thy hand, that thou mightst think upon these by the seal, through whom 1,000 sighs are breathed for thee. So go. Get thee gone, that I may know my grief. 'Tis but surmised while thou art standing by, as one that surfeits thinking on a want. I will repeal thee, or be well assured, adventure to be banished myself, and banished I am, if but from thee. Go. Speak not to me, even now, be gone. Oh, go not yet, even thus two friends condemned, embrace and kiss and take 10,000 leaves, though they're 100 times to part than die. Yet now, farewell, and farewell life with thee.
Thus is poor Suffolk 10 times banished, once by the king, and 3 times thrice by thee. 'Tis not the land I care for. Wert thou thence, a wilderness is populous enough. So Suffolk had thy heavenly company. For where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world. And where thou art not, desolation. I can no more. Live thou to joy thy life. Myself no joy in naught but that thou livest.
Whither goes thou so fast? What news, I prithee?
To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death, for suddenly a grievous sickness took him, that makes him gasp and stare and catch the air, blaspheming God and cursing men on earth. Sometimes he talks as if Duke Humphrey's ghost were by his side. Sometime he calls the king and whispers to his pillow, as to him, the secrets of his overcharged soul. And I am sent to tell his majesty that even now he cries aloud for him.
Go, tell this heavy message to the king. Ah me, what is this world? Oh, what news are these? But wherefore grieve I at an hour's poor loss, omitting Suffolk's exile, my soul's treasure? Why only, Suffolk, mourn I not for thee? And with the southern clouds contend in tears, theirs for the earth's increase, mine for my sorrows. Now get thee hence. The king thou knowest is coming. If thou be found by me, thou art but dead.
If I depart from thee, I cannot live. And in thy sight to die, what were it else but like a pleasant slumber in thy lap? Here could I breathe my soul into the air as mild and gentle as the cradle babe dying with its mother's dug between its lips. Where from thy sight I should be raging mad, and cry out for thee to close up mine eyes, to have thee with thy lips to stop my mouth. So shouldst thou either turn my flying soul, or I should breathe it so into thy body. And then it lived in sweet Elysium. To die by thee were but to die in jest. From thee to die were torture more than death. Oh, let me stay! Befall what may befall!
Away! Though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is applied to a deathful wound. To France, sweet Suffolk, let me hear from thee, for wheresoe'er thou art in this world's globe, I'll have an iris that shall find thee out.
I go.
And take my heart with thee.
A jewel locked into the woefullest cask that ever did contain a thing of worth. Even as a splitted bark, so sunder we. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
Okay, nice. So lastly, John is the only one that didn't, well, that was by choice. He elected to do a second monologue rather than take a role in the scenes. So let's bring the monologue wheel back up for him. John,
wait.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
So John will perform one additional monologue, and then we'll call it a day. And we'll let the wheel decide that. John will do... Oh, what a deal of Olivia on 12th Night, Act 3, Scene 1, about 111 lines in.
Okay, let me see here. Oh, wait, sorry. Yep.
What a deal of Storm looks beautiful.
Okay. Okay, say that again, please. I had to.
Oh, what a deal of scorn looks beautiful is how it begins.
Okay. And from
12th Night, Act 3, Scene 1.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right there. Let's see, where? 12th Night, you said?
Yes.
Act 3, Scene 1. And then she starts out with.
Oh, what a deal of scorn looks beautiful.
Okay. Nope, I didn't see it. Let me see here. 3-1. Is it at the top or is that within?
It's in the middle of the scene.
Oh, I mean, no, but I mean within the monologue. I don't see the monologue at all.
No, let me see. Maybe I'm getting. Maybe I put this wrong scene number.
I don't see it here. Wait.
It's toward the. It's very end. It's very.
I have it. I have it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, what a deal of scorn looks beautiful in the contempt and anger of his lip. A murderous guilt shows not itself more soon than love that would seem hid. Love's night is noon. Cesario, by the roses of the spring, by maidhood, honor, truth, and everything. I love thee so, that maugre all thy pride, nor wit nor reason can my passion hide. Do not extort thy reasons from this clause, for that I woo, though therefore hath no cause. But rather reason thus with reason fetter, love sought is good, but given unsought better.
Okay, great. Well, great performances today, everybody. Thank you all to everybody who participated. It was a fun round. I will see everybody again, same time next week on this channel. Bye now.